The massive spaceship Starlight glided through the darkness of space like a silver fish in a black ocean. Inside the ship, Amy Miller stood by the window, looking at the stars. She was not very tall, but she had strong arms and bright eyes that missed nothing. Her short brown hair was tied back and her blue uniform showed she was important. Amy was the best diplomat from Earth. She helped humans talk to aliens from other planets. She was good at understanding strange customs and making friends with creatures that looked nothing like humans. Today she had a new and dangerous job. The captain of the ship walked up to Amy. His face looked worried. "Are you sure you want to do this?" he asked. "The Zorians are not like other aliens. Their queen is." Said to be cruel, Amy nodded. She had heard the stories about Queen Zorax of the Zorians, the tall blue-skinned queen with 4 arms and eyes that glowed in the dark. No one wanted to spend time with her. Many diplomats had tried to make peace with the Zorians, but they all came back with nightmares. Some did not come back at all. But humans needed the special metal that was found only on the Zorian planets. Without it, Earth ships could not fly far in space. The humans and Zorians needed to be friends. "I have studied the Zorians for 5 years. Amy said, "I understand things about them that others do not. I am not afraid." The captain did not look happy, but he nodded. Amy was the best chance they had. The ship landed on the planet Zoria. The sky was purple, and 2 suns made everything look strange. Amy stepped out of the ship and felt the warm air on her face. A group of tall blue aliens waited for her. They had 4 arms each and wore clothes made of shiny metal. Their faces had no noses, just small holes where the nose should be. Their eyes were large and all black. "Welcome, human," said the tallest alien. His voice sounded like stones rubbing together. "Our queen waits for you." Amy followed the aliens to a large building made of black stone. It looked like a castle from old Earth stories, but much bigger. The walls were so high they seemed to touch the purple sky. Inside the castle, everything was cold and dark. Strange plants grew from the walls, giving off soft blue light. Amy could hear water dripping somewhere, and the sound of her boots on the stone floor seemed very loud. The alien guards took her through many hallways and up many stairs. She tried to remember the way, but it was too confusing. Finally, they came to a huge door made of metal with strange marks carved into it. The door opened slowly, making a sound like thunder. The throne room was huge with a ceiling so high Amy could not see it clearly. At the far end, sitting on a throne made of the same black stone as the castle, was Queen Zorax. The queen was taller than any of the other aliens. Her skin was darker blue, almost purple. Her 4 arms were covered in gold bracelets, and she wore a dress that seemed to be made of living flowers that changed colors as she moved. But it was her eyes that made Amy stop and stare. They were not black like the other aliens, but bright silver, and they seemed to look right into Amy's mind. "Come closer." "Human," said the queen. Her voice was surprisingly soft, like silk being. Amy walked forward until she stood before the queen. She bowed as she had been taught. "Queen Zorax, I bring greetings from Earth. We wish to trade with your people and learn from you." The queen laughed. It was not a nice sound. "Many have come with pretty words, human. Many have offered trade. But none will stay in my palace. None will spend time with me. They fear me." She leaned forward. "Do you fear me?" "Human." Amy looked straight into those silver eyes. "I respect you, your majesty. But I do not fear what I understand." The queen seemed surprised. She stood up and walked down from her throne. She was very tall. Amy had to look up to see her face. "You think you understand me, human?" The queen circled around Amy like a cat watching a mouse. "No one understands the Zorians. That is why they fear us. I have studied your people for years," Amy said. "Your language, your customs, your biology. I believe humans and Zorians can be friends." The queen stopped and looked at Amy with new interest. "Then you will take the test. All who wish to make treaties with Zorians must pass it. You must spend 1 night in the Queen's Tower alone with me." The room became very quiet. Amy could hear the other aliens whispering. They sounded scared. "Do you accept human?" asked the Queen. Amy took a deep breath. She knew about the Queen's tower. It was where the other diplomats had gone. Many had run away in the middle of the night screaming about monsters. Some had been found in the morning shaking with fear, unable to speak. A few had never been found at all, except your Majesty. The Queen smiled, showing teeth that were sharp and white. "Good, then we will begin at sunset. Come, you will need to prepare." Amy followed the Queen out of the throne room. The other aliens watched her go. Their black eyes were wide with surprise. No one had accepted the Queen's test so quickly before. The Queen took Amy to a room with a bath and clean clothes. "Rest, human," said the Queen. "Eat and drink. What comes tonight will test your courage." When the Queen left, Amy sat on the bed. Her hands were shaking a little, but she was not going to show fear. She had a secret that no one else knew. Not even the captain of her ship. Amy had discovered something about the Zorians that no one else had noticed. Something that explained why people who stayed with the Queen had such terrible experiences. She believed she could pass the test where others had failed. As the larger of the two suns began to set, turning the purple sky to dark blue, a servant came for Amy. "It is time, human." The Queen waits in the tower. Amy followed the servant up a winding staircase that seemed to go on forever. The walls of the stairs were covered in the same strange glowing plants, making the way look magical and a little scary. At the top was another metal door smaller than the one to the throne room. The servant stopped. "Beyond this door is the Queen's tower. No one may enter but you and the Queen." The servant looked at Amy with something like pity. "Good luck, human. You will need." The door opened and Amy stepped through into the unknown. The Queen's tower was not what Amy expected. Inside was a large round room with walls made of glass. The purple night sky of Zoria was visible all around, and the two moons shone bright silver light into the room. Strange plants grew everywhere. Some had flowers that glowed blue and green. Others moved slowly like they were breathing. The air smelled sweet like honey and flowers. In the middle of the room was a pool of water that glowed soft blue. Queen Zorak stood beside it. Her forearms were now free of jewelry, and she wore a simple robe of silver material. Her silver eyes watched Amy with interest. "You did not run away." "Human," said the Queen. "Most visitors see my tower and beg to leave. The room is beautiful," Amy said, looking around. "Why would anyone want to leave?" The Queen laughed, that silky, tearing sound again. "It is not the room they fear, human. It is what happens in the night, Queen." Zorax walked to a table where food and drinks were laid out. She poured a blue liquid into 2 cups and offered one to Amy. "Drink. It will not harm you." Amy took the cup and smelled it. The drink had a sharp, sweet smell like very strong fruit. She took a small sip. It tasted good, like berries and something else she could not name. She drank more. The Queen watched her with those silver eyes that seemed to see everything. "You are different from the others. Human, you do not shake with fear. You look at me as if I am just another person to understand." Amy put down her cup. "Fear comes from not understanding. I want to understand the Zorians." The Queen moved closer. She was so tall that Amy had to step back to see her face. "What do you think you understand about me?" Human. Amy took a deep breath. This was the moment she had prepared for. "I understand that Zorians share thoughts and feelings when they sleep near others. I understand that your mind is very powerful. Your thoughts and dreams can enter the minds of others. But humans have different brains. We can block this if we know how." The Queen went very still. Her silver eyes widened. "How do you know this?" "No off-worlder has ever discovered our secret." Amy smiled. "I studied the reports of those who spent time with you. They all spoke of dreams and visions of feeling like their minds were being invaded. I also studied Zorian biology. The patterns in your brain are similar to human telepaths." The Queen was silent for a long time. Then she sat on a cushion near the glowing pool and gestured for Amy to sit too. "For 1,000 years, my people have been alone. she said. Her voice was softer now, sadder. No other species can share our dream space without fear. Their minds are too different. They see our thoughts as monsters. They feel our emotions as attacks. We tried to explain, but they would not listen. They called us mind-eaters, soul-stealers. She looked at Amy. So we stopped trying. We let them fear us. It was easier. Amy sat beside the queen, though not too close. But that means you are always alone. Even your own people fear being too close to their queen. Zorax nodded. The royal line has the strongest minds. My thoughts are too powerful for even other Zorians to bear for long. That is the curse of being queen, to rule alone, to dream alone. Amy felt sad for the queen. To be so powerful that no one could be close to you sounded like a terrible life. But what if humans are different, she said. What if our minds can adapt to yours? The queen looked at her with doubt. In those silver eyes, many have claimed their species was different human. All have failed. Amy reached into her pocket and took out a small device. It was flat and round like a coin, but it glowed with tiny lights. This is a neural stabilizer, she explained. It helps human minds stay organized during telepathic contact. Our scientists developed it for human telepaths, but I think it will work with Zorian dream sharing too. The queen looked at the device with interest. You would risk your mind for this treaty? Amy nodded. Sometimes understanding requires risk. As the night grew deeper, Amy and the queen talked about their worlds. Amy told stories about Earth, about oceans and mountains, about cities and farms. The queen told stories of Zoria, of the deep caves filled with singing crystals, of the flying creatures that lived in the high air where no one could breathe. The blue drink made Amy feel warm and relaxed, but her mind stayed clear. She learned that Zorians lived 3 times longer than humans, that they could see colors humans could not imagine, that they remembered everything they ever experienced without forgetting. As the smaller moon began to set, Queen Zorax stood up. It is time for the true test, human. Are you still willing? Amy stood too. She felt nervous, but also excited. I am ready. The queen led her to an area where soft cushions were arranged on the floor. Zorians do not sleep in beds like humans, she explained. We rest here and let our minds join in the dream space. Amy sat on the cushions. They were softer than they looked, almost like sitting on clouds. She took the neural stabilizer and pressed it against her temple. It stuck to her skin and the lights began to pulse softly. She felt a slight tingling as it connected to her brain. The queen lay on the cushions near Amy, but not touching her. Her forearms were folded across her chest. Her silver eyes looked up at the stars visible through the glass ceiling. When I sleep, my mind will reach for yours, she warned. You may see strange things, feel strange emotions. If it becomes too much, use the red button on your device. It will block the connection. Amy lay down too. The cushions seemed to shape themselves to her body, making her very comfortable. I understand, she said. I am not afraid. The queen closed her silver eyes. Then let us dream. Human, let us see if your understanding is enough. Amy closed her eyes too. The neural stabilizer hummed softly against her temple. She could feel herself getting sleepy, but as sleep came, she felt something else too, a presence at the edge of her mind, like someone standing outside a door, waiting to be invited in, instead of fighting it as she knew others had done. Amy imagined opening a door in her mind, welcoming the presence. And then everything changed. Amy found herself standing in a place that was not a place. Colors swirled around her that she had never seen before. She could feel emotions that were not hers: curiosity, surprise, hope. The thoughts of the queen surrounded her like a warm ocean. Is this the dream space, she asked, though she did not speak with her voice. It is, came the reply. The place where Zorian minds meet, where we share and grow and learn. Around Amy, images began to form. Memories of the queen as a child running through fields of moving plants. Memories of Coronation Day when the crown of living metal was placed on her head. The loneliness of years spent ruling a people who feared her touch, and the queen was seeing Amy's memories too. Her childhood on Earth, The day she decided to become a diplomat, her years studying alien cultures. The hope she felt when she discovered the secret of the Zorians. They were sharing everything. Nothing hidden. Nothing feared, and Amy understood at last. The true gift of the Zorians. The true curse of their queen. The beauty and terror of minds, joined completely. The night continued, and in the dream space, Amy and Queen Zorax learned more about each other than words could ever express. Amy woke slowly. The light of the first sun was coming through the glass walls of the tower. The air smelled fresh and sweet. She blinked and looked around. The neural stabilizer still hummed against her temple, but softer. Now, Queen Zorax was already awake. She stood by the glass wall looking out at the purple morning sky. Her forearms were held behind her back. Her silver eyes looked thoughtful. "You survived the night." "Human," said the queen without turning around. "Your mind remained whole." Amy sat up. She felt different. Stronger somehow, like her mind had stretched and grown. "It was beautiful," she said. "The dream space, the sharing. I never imagined anything like it." The queen turned to look at her. Those silver eyes seemed to shine brighter in the morning light. No off-worlder has ever said that before. They all spoke of nightmares, of invasion, of horror. You speak of beauty. Amy stood up and walked to stand near the queen. She looked out at the alien landscape, the strange trees with blue leaves, the distant mountains that seemed to float in the air. "I saw your memories," she said. "Your life, your hopes, your fears. I understand now why others were afraid. The power of your mind is overwhelming. But they ran from it, instead of trying to understand." Queen looked down at Amy. "And you, human, you did not run. You opened your mind to mine." Why Amy thought about this. She had asked herself the same question many times before coming to Zoria. Humans are curious. She said finally, "We want to understand the universe and all the creatures in it. Sometimes that curiosity is stronger than fear." The queen was silent for a moment. Then she did something surprising. She knelt down so her face was level with Amy's. Her silver eyes looked directly into Amy's brown. "Once in all my life, no one has truly known me," she said softly. "Not even my own people. They fear the power of the royal mind, but you saw everything and you did not run. You did not fear. You understood." Her voice became almost a whisper. "This is a gift I never expected." Amy felt tears in her eyes. She had not expected this connection either. This understanding that went beyond words, beyond species. "What happens now?" she asked. The queen stood up again, tall and regal. "Now we make a treaty, human, a true treaty. Not based on fear but on understanding. Your people will get the metal they need. My people will get the medicines and technology they need. But more than that," she paused, looking at Amy, "we will share knowledge. We will learn from each other. We will not be alone." A soft chime sounded from somewhere in the tower. "The council waits," said the queen. "They will be surprised to see you alive, and more surprised at what I have to tell them." Amy followed the queen down the winding staircase. Her legs felt a little weak after the night in the dream space, but her mind was clear and focused. She knew what needed to be done now. The path forward for humans and Zorians. The council chamber was a large room with walls of the same black stone. As the rest of the castle, around a round table sat 12 Zorians. Their skin was different shades of blue and green. Their black eyes all turned to stare as Amy entered with the queen. "The human lives," said one of the council members. He sounded shocked. "She survived the night." "She did more than survive," said Queen Zorax. Her voice was strong and commanding. She understood. She shared the dream space willingly. "She saw my mind and I saw hers." The council members began talking all at once, their voices rising in surprise and disbelief. "Impossible. No off-worlder can share the dream space. She must be damaged now." The queen raised one of her 4 hands and the room fell silent. "She is not damaged. She is stronger. Her mind adapted, her technology helped. But It was her willingness to understand that made the difference. She has shown me that humans are different. They can learn to share our dream space. They can know us truly. Amy stepped forward. She knew this was an important moment. The future of human and Zorian relations depended on what happened next. Members of the council, she said, my people want to be friends with yours. We need the special metal from your planets. Yes, but we offer more than just trade. We offer understanding. My experience with your queen shows that humans and Zorians can share knowledge in a way no other species can. This could be the beginning of something new, something important. The council members looked at each other. Their black eyes showed doubt, but also interest. If what you say is true, human, said one of them. If you truly shared the dream space with our queen, then perhaps there is hope. Another council member leaned forward. But you are just one human. Can others of your kind do the same? Amy nodded, with training and technology. Yes, I believe many humans could learn to share the dream space. The neural stabilizer helps, but the most important part is being willing to understand, being open to new experiences. The queen moved to stand beside Amy. Her tall form, casting a shadow over the human woman, I propose a new kind of treaty, she said, one based on shared dreams, not just shared resources. We will begin with a small group, human diplomats trained as this one was. They will learn our ways. We will learn theirs. Together we will find a path forward. The council talked for many hours. Amy explained the neural stabilizer technology. She told them about human telepaths and how they had learned to control their abilities. She described Earth and its people, its history, its hopes for the future. The queen spoke of the loneliness of her position, of her hope that humans might end the isolation of the royal line. Finally, as the second sun began to set, the oldest council member stood up. We will try this new path. He said, we will sign a treaty, not just for metal and medicine, but for understanding. We will teach selected humans the way of the dream space, but they must be willing like this one. They must come without fear. Emmy smiled. This was even better than she had hoped. Not just a trade agreement, but a true alliance based on mutual understanding. There is one more thing, said the queen. She looked at Amy with those silver eyes that now seemed familiar, almost friendly. I wish to make this human, the official ambassador between our worlds. She has earned this honor. She understands us as no off-worlder ever has. The council members nodded in agreement, though some still looked uncertain. Amy felt a wave of pride and responsibility. This was why she had become a diplomat, to build bridges between different peoples, to create understanding where there had been fear. That night, there was a feast in the great hall of the castle. Amy sat at the high table with the queen and the council. The food was strange colors and shapes that no human had tasted before, but Amy tried everything. Some dishes were delicious. Others made her eyes water, but she ate with enthusiasm, showing respect for Zorian culture. As the feast ended, the queen stood and raised a cup of the blue drink. To understanding, she said, to friendship between humans and Zorians, to a future where we dream together. Everyone drank, even Amy, though she took only a small sip, remembering how strong the drink was. After the feast, the queen took Amy to a room in the castle. It was smaller than the tower, but just as beautiful, with the same glass walls looking out at the night sky. This will be your place while you are on Zoria, said the queen. You will help train the human diplomats who come. You will teach them to use the neural stabilizers. You will prepare them for the dream space. Amy looked around the room, feeling overwhelmed by all that had happened. It had been only one day since she arrived on this alien world. One day that had changed everything. Thank you, Your Majesty, she said. I will do my best to help both our peoples understand each other. The queen nodded, those silver eyes looking into Amy's once more. You have given me hope, human. After centuries of loneliness, you have shown me that connection is possible. That understanding can overcome fear. That was a gift beyond price. After the queen left, Amy stood by the glass wall looking up at the alien stars. She thought about all she had learned in the dream space, all she had shared. The barriers between species that had been broken down. Tomorrow she would contact the human ship. She would tell them about the treaty, about the new alliance, about the dream space. She would begin preparations for the first group of human diplomats to be trained. But tonight she simply stood and looked at the stars, thinking about how much bigger the universe had become in just one night. And somewhere in the castle, Queen Zorax also looked at the stars, her silver eyes bright with hope. After 1,000 years of ruling alone, she had found someone who understood her people would have a new future, a future of shared dreams, and it had all begun because one human had chosen understanding over fear. 6 months passed on Zoria. Amy had settled into her role as ambassador. Her room in the castle had become filled with items from both worlds, earth plants growing beside Zorian crystals, pictures of her family next to strange alien art. The neural stabilizer had been improved by human and Zorian scientists working together. It was now smaller and more comfortable, allowing longer periods in the dream space. 10 human diplomats had come to Zoria. They were brave men and women chosen for their open minds and strong wills. Each had spent a night in the dream space, though not with the queen, but with trained Zorian teachers. Each had emerged changed with a deeper understanding of the alien culture. The treaty was working well. Human ships came regularly to collect the special metal. Zorian scientists traveled to Earth to study human medicine and technology. The two species were learning from each other, growing together. But not everyone was happy about this new friendship. Amy was walking in the castle gardens, enjoying the strange beauty of the moving plants, when a servant came running. "Ambassador," the servant said, his 4 arms moving in patterns of distress. "The queen requests your presence immediately. There is trouble." Amy followed the servant quickly through the castle to the council chamber. Inside she found Queen Zorax and the council members. Their faces looked serious, their postures tense. "What has happened?" Amy asked. The queen turned to her, those silver eyes dark with worry. "Group of Zorians have attacked a human ship," she said. "They call themselves the Pure Ones. They believe that sharing the dream space with off-worlders will corrupt our people. They want all humans to leave." Zoria. Amy felt cold fear in her stomach. All the work they had done, all the progress, could it be destroyed so easily? "Was anyone hurt?" she asked. The queen nodded. 2 humans were injured, 3 Xorians as well. "The humans are being treated in our medical center." The ship was damaged, but not destroyed. One of the council members spoke up. "The Pure Ones have been growing in number. They say the queen has been influenced by human thoughts. They say she is no longer fit to rule." Amy looked at Queen Zorax. The tall alien ruler seemed troubled, but not defeated. "What can we do?" she asked. The queen was silent for a moment. Then she looked at Amy with determination in her silver eyes. "We must show them they are wrong. We must prove that the sharing of dreams makes us stronger, not weaker." "I have called for a gathering." Council members gasped. One of them stood up. "Your Majesty, a gathering has not been called in 300 years. It is dangerous. Even for Zorians, the combined dream space of so many minds can be overwhelming." The queen nodded. "I know the risks, but I see no other way. We must show the Pure Ones the truth. We must let them see what we have learned from the humans." Amy looked from the queen to the council members and back. "What is a gathering?" she asked. The queen turned to her. "It is our most sacred ritual. All Zorians join in a single dream space, sharing thoughts and memories and feelings. It is how we make our most important decisions, but it requires great mental strength. The royal mind serves as anchor. Without me, the joined minds would become chaos." Me began to understand. "You want to include the humans in this gathering. You want to show the Pure Ones that humans can share the dream space safely." The queen nodded. "Yes, but there is more. I want them to see what we have gained from our friendship with humans. The new ideas, the new possibilities. I want them to feel your courage, your curiosity, your hope." One of the council members shook his head. "The Pure Ones will never agree to join a gathering that includes humans. Then we will show "Them what they refuse to see," said the queen. Her voice was firm. "We will hold the gathering and project it to them. They will see even if they do not join." I thought about this. It was a bold plan. Perhaps too bold. How dangerous would this be for the humans, she asked. For the diplomats who have trained in the dream space. The queen looked at her, those silver eyes serious. Even with the neural stabilizers, it will be difficult. The combined minds of thousands of Zorians is not like sharing dreams. With one or two, it could overwhelm your people, damage their minds. Amy took a deep breath. "Then I will do it alone," she said. "I have the most experience. I have shared dreams with you more than any other human. I will represent Earth in the gathering." The queen shook her head. "It is too dangerous, friend. I cannot ask this of you." Amy stood straighter, looking up at the tall alien queen. "You are not asking. I am offering. This is too important to fail. The pure ones must be shown the truth. If they stop our treaty, if they force humans to leave Zoria, both our peoples will suffer. I am willing to take the risk." The council chamber was silent. The Zorians looked at the small human woman with new respect. "The gathering will be held tomorrow night," said the queen finally. Her voice was both proud and worried. 3,000 Zorians will join in the great dream space. Those pure ones who refuse to join will be shown what we share. You have until then to prepare yourself." That night, Amy could not sleep. She sat by the glass wall of her room looking out at the alien stars. She was afraid she could not deny it. Sharing dreams with the queen had been intense, overwhelming at times. The neural stabilizer had helped, but there had still been moments when she felt lost in the power of the queen's mind. How much more difficult would it be to join with thousands of alien minds? A soft knock came at her door. "Enter," she called. Queen Zorax stepped into the room. She had to duck her tall form under the doorway. Her silver eyes gleamed in the dim light. "I came to see if you have reconsidered," said the queen. "There is still time to change your mind. No one would think less of you." Amy shook her head. "I have to do this, Your Majesty. Not just for the treaty, but for the future. I believe humans and Zorians can do great things together. Learn from each other, grow together. The pure ones must see that." The queen sat beside Amy, her forearms folded in her lap. "You are very brave human, braver than many of my own people." Amy smiled. "Not brave, just stubborn. My mother always said I never knew when to quit." The queen made a sound that Amy had learned was Zorian laughter. "Then we are alike in that." She looked out at the stars. "For 1,000 years my people have been alone, feared by other species, even by each other. But now," she turned to look at Amy, "now we have a chance to change that because one human was stubborn enough to try to understand us." They sat together in comfortable silence, watching the 2 moons of Zoria rise. In the purple sky, tomorrow would bring danger, perhaps even death. But tonight there was friendship and understanding and hope. The next day passed quickly. Final preparations were made for the gathering. The great hall of the castle was prepared with cushions for 3,000 Azorians to lie upon while their minds joined in the dream space. Special projectors were set up to show the shared dreams to those pure ones who refused to join. Engineers made final adjustments to Amy's neural stabilizer, trying to give her the best chance of surviving the mental link as the suns began to set. Zorians came to the castle from all over the planet, nobles and farmers, workers and teachers, all coming to join in the gathering to decide the future of their relationship with humans. Amy watched from a window as they filed into the great hall. Their blue and green skin, their 4 arms, their black eyes, all so different from humans. Yet she had come to see the beauty in their alien forms, the grace of their movements, the intelligence in those black eyes. She touched the neural stabilizer at her temple. It was cool against her skin. The new version was smaller, more powerful. The engineers had added emergency cutoffs in case the mental pressure became too great. But Amy knew she could not use them. No matter how overwhelming the gathering became, she had to stay connected, had to show the pure ones the truth. Queen Zorax came to find her as the last sun disappeared below the horizon. "It is time, human," she said. Her silver eyes looked into Amy's. The Zorians are ready. The pure ones watched through the projectors. Are you prepared? Amy nodded. Though her heart beat fast with fear, her mind was calm and focused. I am ready, Your Majesty. Let us show them what humans and Zorians can do together. The Queen led Amy to the great hall. It was filled with Zorians lying on cushions, their bodies still, their minds already beginning to reach for each other. The air seemed to hum with energy. A space had been prepared for Amy in the center near the Queen, her own cushion smaller than the others with the human emblem sewn into it. As she lay down, Amy could feel the watching eyes of thousands of Zorians, some curious, some hopeful, some hostile. The pure ones watched. Through projectors, their faces angry, their minds closed. Queen Zorax lay beside her. The tall queen looked at Amy, one last time. Remember, human, your mind is stronger than you know. Trust in that strength. Trust in our connection, Amy. Nodded. Her mouth was dry, her hands slightly shaking, but her resolve was firm. I trust, she said. Then let us begin, said the queen, and the gathering began. The dream space opened around Amy like an ocean of light and color, but this time it was different. Vaster, deeper, filled with thousands of minds all reaching for each other. The neural stabilizer hummed against her temple, working hard to protect her from the overwhelming force of so many alien thoughts. She felt herself begin to drift, to lose her sense of self in the flood of Zorian consciousness. For a moment, panic gripped her. She could not find herself, could not remember who she was. Then, she felt a familiar presence, Queen Zorax. The Queen's mind reached for hers like a hand extended to someone drowning. Amy grabbed hold and felt herself steadied, anchored in the storm of shared consciousness. I am here, human came. The Queen's thought. Hold to me. Amy focused on the Queen's mind, using it as a center point around which to organize her thoughts. She remembered who she was, remembered why she was here. She was Amy Miller, human diplomat. She was here to show the pure ones the truth about humans and Zorians. Slowly, carefully, she began to open her mind to the gathering. Not all at once, that would be too dangerous. But piece by piece, memory by memory, she showed the Zorians Earth, its oceans and forests, its cities and farms. She showed them human history, the struggles and triumphs, the wars and peace. She showed them human art and science, music and mathematics, and the Zorians responded, their minds touching hers gently at first. Then, with growing confidence, they showed her their world, their history, their dreams. Their planet had once been home to great floating cities that sailed the high winds. Their people had survived. Terrible plagues had rebuilt their civilization many times. Their art was based on shared dreams, creating images that could only be seen in the mind through it all. Queen Zorax held Amy steady. The Queen's mind was a lighthouse in the storm of shared consciousness, guiding Amy, keeping her from being lost. Then Amy felt something new. A group of minds holding back, resisting the sharing. The pure ones. Those who had refused to join the gathering but who watched through the projectors. They saw what was happening, felt the beauty of the shared dream space. But they remained apart, afraid or angry, or both. Amy gathered her courage. She reached out not with her mind but with her heart. She sent not thoughts but feelings, hope for the future, pride in what humans and Zorians had accomplished together, belief that they were stronger together than apart. Show them, came the Queen's thought. Show them what you showed me that first night. Amy understood. She opened the deepest part of her mind, the part that had connected with the Queen that first night in the tower. She shared her vision of what humans and Zorians could become together. Two species learning from each other, growing together, reaching for the stars not as competitors but as partners. And slowly something remarkable began to happen. Some of the pure ones began to join the gathering. Not all, many still held back, but some opened their minds, saw what Amy was showing, felt what she was feeling, and they responded. The dream space grew larger, deeper, more complex as more minds joined. The strain on Amy's neural stabilizer increased. Io could feel it burning hot against her temple, could feel her mind stretching to its limits, but she held on, kept sharing. kept showing the truth as she saw it. Time had no meaning in the dream space. It could have been minutes or hours. The shared consciousness flowed and changed like a living thing, growing more complex, more beautiful as more minds joined. More thoughts were shared. Then suddenly, Amy felt something break, a sharp pain in her head. The neural stabilizer had reached its limit, was beginning to fail. The protection it provided was fading. Queen Zorax felt it too. Her mind reached for Amy's, tried to shield her from the full force of the gathering. "You must leave, human," came her urgent thought. "The stabilizer fails. Your mind is in danger." But Amy did not leave. She could feel that they were close to something important. The pure ones who had joined the gathering were beginning to understand, were seeing the possibilities that she saw. There was just a little further to go. Just a little longer, she thought back to the Queen. We are so close. The pain in her head grew worse. Colors began to blur in the dream space. Thoughts became jumbled. Images fragmented. The neural stabilizer was failing completely now. She could feel her consciousness beginning to slip to fragment. Then she felt something unexpected. The minds of the Zorians, even some who had been pure ones, reaching for hers, supporting her, helping her hold herself together. Their alien thoughts formed a network around her human mind, creating a new kind of stabilizer, a living protection, and at the center of it all was Queen Zorax, her powerful mind holding everything together. The Queen, who had been so alone for so long, was now the center of a vast network of consciousness. Human and Zorian joined in understanding. In that moment of perfect connection, Amy saw something that took her breath away. The future. Hundreds of years ahead. Humans and Zorians working together, living together, sharing dreams and ideas and discoveries, a future of friendship and growth and hope. The vision was so beautiful, so perfect, that tears would have fallen if she had been in her physical body. And then slowly, gently, the gathering began to end. The thousands of minds began to separate, to return to their individual consciousness. But something remained, a connection, a understanding, a shared vision of what could be. Amy felt herself return to her body. The neural stabilizer was silent now, burned out by the strain. Her head ached terribly, and she felt weak, as if she had run a great distance, but she was alive, and more importantly, she knew they had succeeded. She opened her eyes. The great hall was quiet. 3,000 Zorians were sitting up, looking around with wonder on their faces. Even those who had been pure ones who had joined the gathering late looked changed, their hostility replaced by thoughtfulness. Queen Zorax sat beside Amy, her silver eyes looking down with concern. "You live, human," she said softly. "You survived." Amy tried to sit up. The Queen helped her with one of her forearms. "Did it work?" she asked. Her voice was hoarse, as if she had been screaming. The Queen nodded. "Look," she said, pointing. Amy turned her head. Though it hurt to move, she had to see at the far end of the hall stood a group of Zorians. Their skin the darker blue that marked the pure ones. They were talking with council members, with other Zorians. Their postures no longer hostile but curious, interested. The leader of the pure ones, a tall Zorian with scars on two of his arms, looked across the hall and saw Amy watching. He walked toward her, his black eyes fixed on her face. Amy felt a moment of fear, but when he reached her, he did not attack, did not threaten. Instead, he knelt down so he could look into her eyes. "I was wrong, human," he said. His voice was deep and rough. "I feared what I did not understand. I feared that sharing dreams with your kind would weaken us, would change who we are." His black eyes looked into hers. "Now I see that change can make us stronger. That understanding does not mean losing ourselves, it means growing beyond what we were." Amy smiled, though her head still pounded with pain. "That is what I hoped you would see," she said, "that humans and Zorians are better together than apart, that we can learn from each other." The Pure One leader nodded. "Not all of my people are convinced," he warned. "Some still fear, but many now see what you have shown us. We will not fight against this treaty. We will watch and wait and see what grows from it. He stood and walked away, rejoining his people. The great hall was filled with Zorians talking excitedly about what they had experienced in the gathering. The shared vision of the future had given them hope, had shown them possibilities. They had never imagined Queen Zorax helped Amy stand. Though her legs were weak and her head spun, "You need rest, human." The Queen's voice was gentle, concerned. "The gathering took much from you." Amy nodded, feeling suddenly exhausted. The strain on her mind had been enormous, but it had been worth it. As the Queen led her from the great hall, Zorians bowed to her. Some reached out with their forearms, wanting to touch the human who had shown them a new future. Amy smiled at them, though she was too tired. To speak, her heart was full. She had done what she came to do, had built a bridge between species, had turned fear into understanding. In her room, Amy lay on her bed, looking out at the alien stars that now seemed familiar, almost like friends. The neural stabilizer had been removed. Its circuits burned out by the strain of the gathering, but she did not need it anymore. Her mind had changed, had grown stronger, had adapted to the Zorian dream space, just as she had hoped. Queen Zorax sat beside her bed. "Those silver eyes watching over her sleep, human," said the Queen. "Your mind needs to heal." Amy closed her eyes, feeling sleep coming quickly. "We did it," she whispered. "We showed them, yes, human." The Queen's voice was the last thing she heard before sleep took her. "We showed them. And now everything changes." 3 years later, Amy stood on the observation deck of the Earth space station, looking out at the stars. She wore the uniform of the Human-Zorian Alliance, the emblem on her shoulder showing a human hand and a Zorian hand with 4 fingers joined together. Behind her, the door opened and a tall blue figure entered. Queen Zorax had to duck to pass through the human-sized doorway, her silver eyes bright with excitement. "The Council has approved it." "Human," she said. "The Dream Space Academy on Earth. 20 Zorian teachers. 100 human students. The first step toward true sharing between our peoples," Amy smiled. The academy had been her idea. A place where humans could learn to enter the dream space, safely, where the best of both species could be shared, where understanding could grow. It almost did not happen, she said, remembering the gathering. The pure ones. The danger they had faced.